I get this question all the time, and it's one that I had trouble answering myself, and that is, should you buy the newly refreshed Tesla Model 3 or the practical first, Tesla Model Y, that seems to be the most popular choice globally? If you're after a new car that's akin to driving a car of the future today, and you're strangely intrigued about one of these Tesla EVs, so much so that you actually load up the Tesla website in desperation to find out a little bit more, but you're hit with the difficult dilemma of picking between the models. This being a cheeky new Tesla Model 3 or the 2025 Tesla Model Y. So that's the question that I hope I can help you answer today, or at the very least, just steer you in the right direction. Ultimately, which model is better for who and for what reason? Whilst the utility and practical case for both cars are different, how different are they exactly? Which one is more future-proof than the other? And which one delivers more of a driver's car? And which one delivers more comfort no matter how long the journey is? Finally, what are the drawbacks and pros of both models against each other? So why is my take on this subject so unique, you may ask? Well, I've owned a legacy Model 3 for over 3 years and now a new Tesla Model Y. So I went through the exact same dilemma as maybe what you're going through now. In my head, the new refreshed Tesla Model 3 with the latest gear and the stellar reviews, that was hard to resist, especially when I was happy with my current Model 3 at the time. But the new Tesla Model 3, it does have some stellar finance deals, and it undoubtedly opens up a new realm of practicality for the family thanks to its design. This actually started at the beginning of the year for me, and so probably just like you, I was conflicted on which one would be the best for us and our sole family car. However, after months of research and consideration, it became increasingly clearer to me which one was the most suitable for our circumstances. But my circumstances aren't the same as yours. Therefore, as part of my research, I think I've successfully helped just narrow down which models suits which kind of driver and why. So if you're looking for that visual guidance to help you decide between the Tesla Model 3 or the Tesla Model Y, this is my video take on the differences between each model, together with the drawbacks and pros of each, all in a waffle-less 10-minute-ish summary, if that sounds good. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Right, let's get into it. First up, candidate number 1, the Tesla Model Y. And maybe to your surprise, this was the world's best-selling car. Not EV, literally the whole car market. And this wasn't by some strange circumstance. Beyond the purchase price and freaky finance deals that you could obtain today, against the Model 3 at least, pointing out the obvious and undebatable wins the Model Y has to offer is that you can get this Tesla EV that simply offers far more cabin room for the rear and front rows. The driver position is at a much more comfortable upright position, and so that offers a much more superior outlook when it comes to visibility. So as an SUV, it does offer a spacious interior for passengers, a hatchback boot that enables a much wider entry point for hauling more, an extra big front trunk and more. Notice the emphasis on extra there? I managed to get 2 kid booster seats in my front just to give you a benchmark of how this gives you greater storage practicality and flexibility. And when they're in there, they won't move around like they would do in the boot or trunk, whatever you call it, where you're from. Therefore, if it's not obvious from my first point, one of the biggest attributes is simply just the size advantage, and it's mostly why SUVs in general seem to be the consumer vehicle of choice on the roads these days. And having driven both, the Model Y is effectively an extra big Model 3, and so the biggest advantage gained by that is utility and practicality. Does that then have a big effect on range? Strangely, I thought the difference would be different considering the visual footprint is pretty big. But the Model Y does hold up pretty well to the Model 3. It's incredibly efficient for its size. More on the spec side though a bit later, but in a nutshell, the biggest advantage that you will find in this Tesla Model 3 over that Model 3 is just that it can't compete with the size from storage to passenger space. That's why for family usage, consumers do tend to pick the Model Y over the Model 3. But going big isn't all good, or so she says. This actually concedes some ground to the Model 3 and adds a USP advantage in different areas for the Model 3, for which may ultimately then favour your own circumstances over the extra space gains. Moving over to the incredibly appetising refreshed Tesla Model 3. So with the refreshed Model 3, we did get a revised exterior design, including that killer ultra red colour. That's by far my favourite Tesla colour of all time. But the bigger visual changes came with the new fully improved interior. This now includes a distinct and hard to miss second screen for rear passengers to control their climate usage, the heated seats, and for watching video streaming apps like YouTube, Netflix on the go and more. Therefore, this is a much welcomed addition for those that do haul passengers frequently, particularly those with older kids maybe that do love their tech integration perhaps. Might even save you an argument or two. It's not just the rear seats that get all the improvements though. The front seats also do come with ventilated cooling, another new addition to the Model 3 that the Model Y is yet to have gained. There are a number of other smaller exclusive features such as LED lighting and the new sound insulating glass just to help road noise within the cabin. But shifting focus to the Model 3's biggest benefit, and I mentioned just a moment ago that the single biggest benefit of the Model Y was this extra space. So at what expense does that actually come at, and why do I think this actually adds to the Model 3's biggest benefit over the Model Y? Well, the Model 3 is lower to the ground, so it does give you that bit more of a sportier drive than the Model Y. And particularly whilst cornering, this difference will be felt more than ever, and that's down just to the ergonomics of the vehicle design, I guess. It's not just a sportier feel though, it's also got new and improved suspension setup that does aim to reduce the frequencies of the lumps and bumps in the road. Therefore, the Model 3 is offering more interior features, a quieter drive, though not as big as of a difference as you think these days thanks to the improvements that are made to the Model Y in this area. A sportier drive, less lumping and bumping over the Model Y, but as space and utility is not as widely available, is that then going to be a problem for you? Revisiting the theme of the Model Y's advantages over the Model 3, there are a number of small spec differences for why you may actually elect to buy the Model Y over the Model 3 too. Audio can make or break a sale for some, but did you know that the Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive does come with premium audio as standard, sadly not though for US customers. The Model 3 rear-wheel drive and long-range rear-wheel drive do come with immersive audio only, and this means that you are going to sacrifice some subwoofers and extra speakers and an amplifier too as a result. Another awesome little perk that is really underrated and actually could tip you towards the Model Y is the cockpit air quality, and that's thanks to the inclusion of a HEPA filter. This is effectively a hospital grade filtration system, and this will be super useful from those that suffer from allergies or hay fever, or if you just have a stinky city. It's probably not a massive sale point that does actually drive a lot of sales, but it's a big differential and an exclusive point that does actually differentiate the Model Y over the new Model 3. The next one is for those that enjoy physical controls. The new Model 3 has no stalks behind the wheel, zero. And I know that's going to accept a fair few drivers out there with all those controls. They're now either on the screen or on the steering wheel. And I personally just think that it's an armchair opinion and it's something that you just adjust to. However, I appreciate that not everyone is fully convinced by Tesla's more extreme take on simplifying the driving experience, for which is why this could be viewed as a major advantage or critical to some buyers. So you may have a time limited opportunity to buy a Tesla Model Y with stalks today, as when it's refreshed like the Tesla Model 3, then this Model Y is highly likely to then go stalkless too. Moving on to pricing, there's something you must know that may not be immediately obvious unless you're already in the know. So today it's fair to say that both vehicles are competitively priced and even cheaper on occasion against a decently spec'd petrol SUV or sedans from say BMW, VW Group, Toyota and more. But if you're a US resident, here's something that you do need to know before it's gone. And it probably will go following the election cycle that we just had. So take advantage of any federal credit before it's then stripped, plus any state's incentives on top. Closer to home though, for us lucky Brits, we have the benefit of killer lease deals of £349 per month and 0% APR for personal customers of the Tesla Model Y. Plus, together with our European friends, Tesla are actually throwing in a year's worth of free supercharging too, and having free mileage definitely does feel like some sort of cheat code in life. In terms of the Model 3, the actual production supplies have ramped up over the past few months, so now we have some killer lease deals too for the Model 3, and that starts from £299 per month for the rear-wheel drive Tesla Model 3, and interest rates are now at 2.9%, so bit of a more of a mixed bag for the Model 3, as more incentives are definitely in the Model Y's favour at the time of the video, but still attractive enough to twist an arm or two maybe, I guess. So to conclude, the new Tesla Model 3 will feel more comfortable over the bumps and it will be more sportier to drive, and it holds a number of interior spec enhancements over the Tesla Model Y, such as the rear passenger screen. That said, the Tesla Model Y, despite its larger size, its range and efficiency is still very similar to the Model 3. Yeah, it is marginally lower, but still very similar. Yet the finance deals for it are crazy appetizing over the Model 3 at this given time. And that makes it extremely attractive to families who demand that space without sacrificing more range and too much performance. And whilst these vehicles do hold their advantages and disadvantages over each other, it's also important to note that this doesn't necessarily mean that the Model Y isn't sporty. And the Model 3 isn't just good for families. Both of those statements are actually false in the face of it. But yes, they do hold natural design advantages that the other model do fall short on. But equally, that may not be your priority or for what it does offer. Maybe it's going to be enough for your circumstances. And that is what I hope to highlight today, as there isn't one answer to fit everyone's circumstances. But there are distinct differences for which I did highlight to you in this very video. So if you're now wondering which Model Y or which Model 3 trim should you buy, do take a look at my trim comparisons in the corner of the video now. I think it's that corner, could be that corner, I have no idea. But if you're still undecided, the best way to test your buying decision is to book a Tesla test drive through the Tesla website. So how was today's video? Did this quick summary help you pick a Model 3 or Model Y today? And if so, what sealed the deal and why? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Do share with any friends or family that may find the video beneficial. Don't forget to check out some of the links in the video description. You folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.